Madam President, Mr. General Secretary, honored invitees and distinguished delegates, allow me, Madam Annalena Baerbock, representing the beautiful country of Germany, to begin my speech by offering my warmest congratulations to you on being elected the President of the 80th session of this organization, formed with the noble aim of bringing about a just and lasting peace among the nations of the world. I would also like to use this opportunity to express my country's appreciation to His Excellency Philemon Yang for the exceptional leadership he provided during the 79th session. We are gathered here today to plan the future path of this organization, which has worked tirelessly for 8 decades to bring about a world of peace. It is my honor to address this august assembly for the first time as the President of Sri Lanka. As representatives of nations, we all bear the responsibility to work towards fulfilling the aspirations of our people. The decisions we make now will impact people across the world and play a decisive role in the future of this planet, our common home. Distinguished delegates, our decisions will have a very important impact on our future. Poverty, a tragedy as old as human civilization, has accompanied humankind on its journey through time. For centuries, countries across the world have faced this painful and relentless struggle. Poverty and problems stemming from it are also casting an oppressive shadow on our future. This assembly must pay special attention to eradicate extreme poverty. I believe our conscience dictates us to do so. Distinguished delegates, for centuries, many countries in the world are struggling against poverty. Poverty is a terrible enemy with many faces. Even as we gather here, in the countries we represent, including in my own, children are suffering from hunger. A child's right to education is an internationally accepted fundamental right. This right is enshrined in the constitutions of most of our nations. Yet, across the world, poverty has denied this right to hundreds of thousands of children. In a world which boasts of its technological advances, how can there be children without access to education? Education is the foundation of every great nation. It is the most vital factor deciding one's future. We firmly believe that investment in education is an investment in global progress. Many developing countries are constrained in their struggle against poverty by indebtedness. Low-income countries allocate twice as much on debt servicing than on education or healthcare. Our people and our countries are caught in debt traps. The 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development pledges to leave no one behind and to reach the last first. The agenda acknowledges the most critical challenge before the world is the challenge to end poverty. I would also like to recall the decisions taken at the Global Summit for Social Development in Copenhagen in 1995. However, wars and political upheavals and the COVID pandemic have obstructed the fulfillment of these hopeful agendas. I propose to you that the time has come for us to accept inequality and poverty are a global catastrophe, and we should act accordingly. Madam President, esteemed guests, drugs and organized crimes linked to drugs have become a serious concern to this world. This has been acknowledged in the World Drug Report 2025 published by the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime. The drug problem is a complex issue affecting millions of people globally. The market for drugs and the related criminal organizations are creating issues globally. Drug cartels are turning entire states into their hunting grounds. They pose a major threat to global health and global politics, and eventually global well-being as well. While Sri Lanka is taking effective steps to address this challenge, I respectfully request all of you to join in the effort to implement the global agenda on drugs and crime. I bring to your notice the need to implement the law strictly against these drug traffickers and prevent drug traffickers from taking refuge in our countries, and also to set up rehabilitation centers for rehabilitation purposes. Madam President, honored guests, we regard corruption as an epidemic causing widespread harm to broad swathes of society. We believe corruption to be an obstruction for development, a decisive threat to democracy and global well-being, and also a cause for poverty. Let me remind you that fighting corruption is dangerous, but not fighting corruption is even more dangerous. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights of 1948 was a remarkable victory for the people of the world. Civilizational achievements were never accomplished overnight. They were all results of unwavering efforts and sacrifices. And the struggle against corruption is also a difficult one. We must take the necessary steps here. The first step may be difficult, but if the courageous first step we take is correct, 1,000 steps will follow. That is what I
තුනක් පමණ වෙනවා. අපේ රටේ වගේම රටේ සිටින
It's true that we are small in size and in numbers, yet we have begun the struggle against corruption for the future generations of our country and the world. I propose that corruption should become an integral part of the culture of all UN member countries, the struggle against corruption. Madam President, I feel confident that all of you will join me in condemning war. There is no nation in the world that desires a war. The result of a war is a tragedy wherever it happens.